Both Lewis soccer teams had success in their final weekend of regular season play. The women's volleyball team split their weekend road trip. We'll have the latest in Lewis athletics coming up right now.
Hello and welcome to Flyer Nation, your source for the latest news in Lewis athletics. Thanks for joining us here on LUTN and online. I'm Shane Gustafson.
And I'm Natalie Budig. Joining us later on in the show is head women's volleyball coach Lorelee Smith. She'll talk about the team's road trip this past weekend as well as what Flyer fans can expect for the remaining regular season matches.
We'll also talk with James Weissensel of the men's cross country team. He'll talk about the team's performance so far this season as well as how they're preparing for the upcoming GLVC tournament. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some other Flyer sports headlines. The Lewis women's volleyball team hit the road last weekend to continue GLVC play. On Saturday night, the team traveled to William Jewell College to take on the Cardinals and found themselves down early in set number 1. The team was able to bounce back and score 5 points late in the set and eventually picked up the win. The Cardinals led the next 2 sets until senior Katie First and freshman Allie Schneider teamed up to score the final points, giving the Flyers the lead. Senior Amy Choi picked up 25 digs on the night, and the Flyers picked up their 13th sweep of the season, 3-0. On Sunday, the team traveled to Rockhurst looking to continue their success. Once again, the team was down in the first set of the game, but this time couldn't come back. Strong play from Alexis DeVito helped the Flyers bounce back in the second set, but the team was unable to pick up victories in sets 3 and 4 and lost the game 3-1. The Flyers will return to action on Thursday night when they travel north to UW Parkside to take on the Rangers. First service set for 7 o'clock.
On Friday night, the women's soccer team honored 5 members of their team on senior night. After a short ceremony, the Flyers took on St. Joseph's and won 3-0. Juniors Maggie Moran and Lauren Grady put the Flyers on the board. Head coach Chris Koenig was happy for their team's seniors, especially that their final home game was a great performance. On Sunday, the Flyers took on Indianapolis and won again 3-2. Junior Lauren Grady scored again during the game. Junior Jessica Chavez scored and senior Jenny Coolin scored the game-winning goal. Head coach Chris Koenig said in both games the team was able to keep the score close and pull off victories.
We played very well tonight. I was happy for our seniors, to be able to have this be their final home game and to get a performance like that. I thought we created great chances. They did a lot of the little things we've been asking them to do, and it was fun to see them play that well and really control the game and get a nice result tonight.
The Flyers will now travel to Kenosha to take on UW Parkside on Wednesday at 3:30 p.m.
The Lewis men's soccer team played 2 GLVC games over the weekend, looking to add to their win column in the final weekend of conference play. On Friday night, the team welcomed St. Joseph's to the Lewis Stadium and got on the board early when junior Kristen Nowak scored a goal in the 22nd minute to give the Flyers the 1-0 lead. In the second half, the Flyers pressured the Pumas' offense and held St. Joseph's to just 3 shots on goal. The Flyers added 2 more goals in the game and picked up the 3-0 win. On Sunday, the team traveled to Indianapolis to take on the Greyhounds. The game was tied at 0 at the end of regulation and eventually went into double overtime. With less than 30 seconds remaining on the clock, junior Robert Ziba shot a goal from 30 yards out to give the Flyers the 1-0 victory. Head men's soccer coach Evan Feifel said in both games the team didn't play as well as they could have in the first half of action.
If you think you're just going to show up and you're going to go ahead and get the result, it ain't going to happen. You got to show up. I don't think we played very well in the first 45. Guys are too hungry to go ahead and score instead of playing what we need to do on the field to create more chances and quality chances. The second half, I thought we came out.
The team will travel to Kenosha on Wednesday afternoon to finish their regular season against the Rangers. First kick is set for 1:30.
This past Tuesday, the women's golf team participated in their final event for the fall season. The Flyers won the Commercial Bank Classic Championship with a final round of 332. Sophomore Rachel Sweeney was individual medalist, while sophomore Melissa Van Sistine was runner-up. Senior Daniel Kaufman tied for 5th, junior Alexandra O'Loughlin finished in 15th place, and freshman Hannah Schultz finished closely behind in 16th place. The Flyers will have the winter off before they start up again in March when they travel to Perry Park, Kentucky. Well, it's kind of bittersweet that the soccer season is coming to a close. We had a really successful season on both sides.
Yeah, we definitely did, and it's good to see that it's coming to a close, but not completely for the men's team. They're on their way to the GLVC tournament, so hopefully they do well there.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk with Lewis head women's volleyball coach Lorelee Smith. Stay tuned.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. The women's volleyball team had a successful beginning of their season, sitting in the first place position in the GLVC Eastern Conference for the majority of the season. Over the weekend, the team picked up their 13th sweep of the season against William Jewell, but dropped their match against Rockhurst. Here now to talk about the season so far, as well as what we can expect for the remainder of the season, is Lewis head women's volleyball coach Lorelee Smith. Thanks for joining us today, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So I guess we'll start talking about this past weekend. The team played on the road against William Jewell and Rockhurst, as I mentioned. How do you think those two games went from a coaching perspective?
They went pretty well. It's a 8.5 hour drive, so it's not easy to get off the bus, sleep in a hotel, and then get up and play the next day. William Jewell was nice. We got a lot of people in, and we played consistent throughout. I can't say we dominated, but they dig a lot of balls, and we hung with it and pulled it out as a sweep. Rockhurst was a huge opportunity for us to pull an upset. Right now they're sitting ranked a little bit higher than us, and we played well, but right in the 20s, we made a couple uncharacteristic errors from us and ended up giving them the win.
So the team has seen a lot of success so far this season, currently has an 18-5 record. How do you maintain that record for the remaining 5 games of the regular season?
I think so far we're a really well-balanced team, and you've had 2 or 3 players, per match step up, and that's why we've won. I think, to take a big step forward for the rest of the season, if we could get all 6 players on the same page on the same night, we'll be able to pull out some upsets and finish undefeated.
So the team sat in the first place position for most of the season, but unfortunately over the weekend with the loss to Rockhurst fell to second place. How much of an impact does that have on the team to see themselves in second place as opposed to first?
Since there's 2 divisions, there's 2 first places, 2 second places, it kind of, widens it out. I'm not really sure they're concerned about that. And the team on our side is Indianapolis, that's first place. They have basically the best team left still to play, so we could still end up tying for first if we don't go undefeated and they don't pull an upset.
So let's talk about the team a little bit. Alexis DeVito has really helped the team so far this season, and last weekend at the GLIAC GLVC crossover, she was named to the all-tournament team. What's it like for you as a coach to have a player like Alexis DeVito around?
I think every coach dreams and is really thankful when you have somebody like that. She steps it up at big time. She never loses sight of the goal of scoring points and winning. She always has energy, and she works every day in practice. I mean, she's even pushed through on a couple injuries. So if you are lucky enough to coach somebody like that, I think you just count yourself very thankful.
So another player that's kind of stood out this season to a lot of Flyer fans is freshman Allie Schneider. Talk about her role on the team so far this year.
It's pretty huge. It was a spot last year where we didn't score a lot of points, and she's just given us another offensive weapon. She's really impressive as a freshman because I think she's very thoughtful out there, and usually very rarely does she let the same negative thing happen twice in a row. She has an extremely high volleyball IQ for a volleyball player as a freshman.
So there's only 5 games left in the regular season, as we mentioned. 4 of those games, though, are at home. How important is it to have so many home games coming up at the end of the season?
I think it'll be really nice. We've been traveling the last 3 weeks, and I really do think that puts a little bit of wear and tear on, minor injuries or back pains or anything like that. So to be able to be at home, sleep in your own bed, have a little bit more fan support, I'm hoping that'll be what helps us get all 6 players on the same night.
So the first of these 4 home games is on Saturday against Drury. If students come out to watch that game, what can they expect to see?
I would say our teams are almost mirror opposites of each other. Drury is a huge block. The motion that they do to block is nothing like ours. Their setter is extremely offensive, where we are more backcourt defense and side-out offensive. So I think it could be a very, very interesting game, and I don't think it'll be easy whatsoever.
All right, well, Coach, is there anything else you'd like to add while you're here today?
No, nothing at all.
All right, well, thanks for coming out and joining us.
Thank you.
All right, not a problem. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk with a member of the Lewis men's cross country team. Stay tuned.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
That's low, that's low and below. Look, he's blushing. Seriously.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. The Lewis cross-country season is almost over, and so far the men's team has competed well and even picked up a first-place victory at the Crimson Wave Invite at the beginning of the season. Here now to talk about the season so far, as well as what the team is expected to do going into the GLVC Championships, is men's cross-country runner James Weissensel. Thanks for joining us today, James.
Glad to be here, Shane.
Not a problem. So I guess we'll start talking about the season so far. It's a very short season, the cross-country season. There's only 5 events in the regular season. What is it like for you as an athlete to only have 5 events in such a limited amount of time to go out there and compete?
I feel like it's been a pretty good transition going from high school running to collegiate running, especially over the past few years. Normally we would start at the beginning of August, and then we would end up finishing out our regional in the middle of November. But for this season anyway, the regional is towards the end of November, November 22nd, and I feel like it's a really good way for us to stay fresh, especially with us starting so late in the middle of September actually. It gives especially some of our younger guys, primarily freshmen and sophomores who are on our team, the chance to go out there and give it it what they got, especially at the Crimson Wave earlier this year, and that was just an amazing feat by them. And it just goes to show how much work ethic we really put into our summers, because that's primarily where everything comes from. You have to have a really solid summer's worth of running in order to peak at the right time, which is primarily right now.
So you talk about the Crimson Wave Invitational at the beginning of the season. The team took first place in that. What's it like to have such a strong start to the season, taking an early first place victory?
Well, we primarily had our freshmen and sophomores just step up, and it was a 4-mile race, so it was just very, very encouraging to see how fast they ran and how close they were as a pack. It's the top 5 runners that score, and the 6th and 7th runner can count as another score in case of a tie. But just the spread from our 1 through 5, it was just that close, that closely knit. And I feel like with a race like that, they were able to hone off each other and be able to, come together even better as a group. And that's going to be our future for the next few years to come.
So this year, Lewis hosted the first ever cross-country meet here at Lewis University. What was it like for you to be part of that, I guess, historic experience here at Lewis for the first ever cross-country meet?
It was kind of cool to actually have most of the teams from our conference come out here and experience the course. We still need to do a little bit of work on it yet, like rolling out some of the muddy spots or the little bit of divots here and there. For the most part, I think, though, our course is in pretty good condition than in previous years. It's our first time hosting conference in who knows how many years. So I'm pretty excited to have our home crowd come out and everything. I feel like it's going to be one of those ways for teams to come out and experience what we have to offer and everything, other than our other facilities like our track and our rugby fields and our athletic facilities, soccer field. Now we have a cross-country course, so I feel like that's a very great addition to Lewis Athletics as a whole.
So you're a junior on the team. This is obviously your third year. How does this year's team compare to the previous 2 that you've been a part of in terms of, I guess, team chemistry?
Well, this year's team is very young, honestly. Me and as only junior, and then there's 2 other seniors on the team, and the rest of the 90% of the squad are freshmen and sophomores. So we're just very young as a team, but we have just improved in leaps and bounds over this summer. Last year we had Andrew McLean and Sean Smith as leaders of our pack, but no, we were able to step up over the summer. It's primarily what you really have to put in during the summer. All the hard work, it really does pay off towards a time like today. And I feel like throughout the years, we're just going to be that much stronger with how fast and how our underclassmen have been improving to this rate. And I give them some of my feedback, they give me some of theirs, and we just relate very well together. I feel like our team chemistry is stronger than ever before, and I can't wait to see what happens next year, my senior year.
So this year there's a new cross-country coach, James Kearney. What is it like for you as a runner to have a different coach for your junior year as opposed to having Dana Schwartig for the first 2 years of your time here?
I feel like James has been very personable with most of us, and Dana is a great coach by all means. He just has a lot of administrative stuff to do, especially with the track team, so he's been very busy with them. But to turn the reins over to Coach Kearney, I feel like he's proven himself over the years and has taken the responsibility to coach not only the girls' team to a national qualifying team, but to also get us this far. And I feel like his coaching methods are significantly different than many of the other coaches I have had in the past in high school and the previous 2 years. But no, for the most part, he's very, very understanding with the work that we have to put in. And if you have to have like a down day or if you have to treat an injury, he's very understanding about that, class conflicts as well. But no, for the most part, he's just very understanding of our various abilities, and he's able to format our training plans a specific way.
So James, is there anything else you'd like to add while you're here today?
Other than November 8th, I'd like to ask everybody who's not doing anything that weekend to please come out and support us. We'd really appreciate it. Men's race 10:30 and women's race is at 11:30 on Saturday, November 8th. And the cross-country course starts on the rugby field and finishes there as well, and it loops around twice for the men around the cornfields and once around the cornfield for the women. And that's further back towards the Wilco Center.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, James.
All right. Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Flyer Nation, but we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Hey, this job looks perfect. It says you need people skills?
Check.
Driver's license?
Check.
And a high school diploma or GED.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
I got that.
You are good to go.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. The Lewis women's volleyball team split their weekend series against GLVC opponents, causing them to drop a position in the GLVC East standings. Let's take a look at where the team currently sits. After this loss this weekend, the Flyers move down to the number 2 position, while Indianapolis takes control of the top spot of the division. McKendree and UW Parkside are sitting just behind the Flyers in the divisional standings, while St. Joseph's and Illinois Springfield round out the division.
Both of our Lewis soccer teams played this weekend and both picked up victories in their games. Let's take a look at the current GLVC standings for both teams. On the men's side, the Flyers continue to maintain their 4th place position just behind UMSL and Drury. Quincy is still in 1st place and is the regular season champion. The top 7 teams, including the Flyers, have clinched a spot in the GLVC tournament. On the women's side, the Flyers moved up to the number 8 position, while UW Parkside clinched the regular season title. The top 6 teams advanced to the GLVC tournament. However, the Flyers are not one of the teams that will move on.
It's time for our weekly Player of the Week awards. The GLVC has named sophomore Amanda Farrow as the Women's Cross Country Runner of the Week. Farrow turned in a career best time at the 6K UW Oshkosh AAE Invitational last weekend to help the Flyers finish in 14th place overall. This is the 2nd time this season that the GLVC has named Farrow as the Runner of the Week.
This week's Flyer Nation Player of the Week award goes out to Katie First of the Lewis women's volleyball team. First helped the Flyers on Sunday night in the game against Rockhurst when she picked up a career-high 9 kills and 3 blocks. Her efforts helped the team pick up their only victory of the night in the 2nd set.
Our 2nd Flyer Nation Player of the Week award goes out to Robert Ziba of the men's soccer team. Ziba was able to score the winning goal for the Flyers in Sunday's matchup against Indianapolis when he kicked in a 30-yard shot in the final seconds of the game. Ziba also put up a goal to help the Flyers in their games last weekend as well.
We also want to say congratulations to former Lewis baseball player Michael Schroeder. Last week, he signed a professional contract to play baseball with the Gary South Shore Railcats of the American Association League. In his 2 seasons playing in a Flyer uniform, Schroeder held a career ERA of 3.32 with 119.1 innings pitched and a 12-6 overall record.
Well, it's great to see that another Lewis Flyer, signed a professional contract. It's always great to see them be successful while they're at Lewis and then being successful out in the real world.
Yeah, for sure. We saw a basketball contract last year, or last week, a baseball contract this week. So who knows who's next?
Right, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back here on Flyer Nation.
No more pencils, no more books.
No more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out
for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%. To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
He's on his way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you were really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Halloween is coming up this week, and if you don't have any plans, you can join the Lewis men's volleyball team for their black and gray scrimmage. Let's take a look at the other games on the schedule. On Wednesday night, both Lewis soccer teams will wrap up their regular season schedule when they travel to UW Parkside to take on the Rangers. The men's game will start at 1:30, while the women will start at 3:30. Also on Wednesday night, the Lewis women's volleyball team will continue their GLVC season against the UW Parkside Rangers. First serve is set for 7 o'clock p.m. On Saturday, both Lewis swim teams will be at home taking on Grand Valley State University. Both meets are set to start at 1 o'clock p.m. And on Sunday afternoon, the Lewis women's volleyball team will take on Missouri S&T at home. First serve is set for 1 o'clock and can be heard on our radio station, WLRA 88.1 FM.
If you can't make it out to see the Flyers play in person, you can always watch the games live here on LUTN Channel 6 or online at lewisflyers.com. This week on our radio station, WLRA 88.1 FM will bring you the women's volleyball game versus Drury on Saturday and the game against Missouri S&T on Sunday. Be sure to tune in on 88.1 FM or online at WLRAradio.com.
Well, it's interesting to see the men's volleyball team starting practices already for their upcoming season.
Right, absolutely. I'm excited to be able to talk about this on Flyer Nation, as well as broadcast their games on LUTN.
Yeah, exactly. Men's volleyball is always one of the bigger sports to pay attention to here at Lewis.
Right, absolutely.
All right, well, that will do it for us this week here on Flyer Nation. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to join us next week right here on LUTN for the latest in Flyer athletics.
From all of us here at Flyer Nation, have a great day.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We beg to differ. They are snapshots that represent lasting memories, stories to be told for years to come. Our story is one pictured not just with trophies, but with diplomas, friendships, a helping hand. New chapters beginning every season. This is the story of the Great Lakes Valley Conference.